What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. I want to go over some of the data points, break it down what moved it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi did close 4.32% in the green, 28.46 the low, 29.75 was the high. Today, the big deal was going to be that 29.03. It really needed to get above that. But as you can kind of see, ultimately when it was starting to really move higher, it didn't really phase. Like it had a little bit of a struggle with that general area, which lasted maybe a astonishing 10 minutes, and then it just blew past that. A lot of institutions did buy in. So these are all the transactions that did occur on the secondary market above $100,000. Big ones, 40.6, 7.1. 5.9, 5.1, 4.2, and so forth and so forth. So a lot of big money was buying into SoFi today, despite there being no official news. So no press releases, no SEC filings. We did have this come out from Trump, and that was yesterday evening, just saying that he's going to be potentially cutting income tax almost completely. And so there hasn't been that much in kind of context after this, but market loved that and really pushed higher. So yeah, I think all in all, pretty epic day. As far as the volume, we did see lower volume, but historically that always does happen because not only did the market close earlier, but most institutions weren't really doing all that much. So 26.9 million shares being traded, 76.7 is the average. So pretty good amount of volume actually, mind you, looking here. So even that one transaction, 1.3 million, that made up for a good chunk of the daily volume. But big thing for today was going to be this right here, looking at shorts. So as I've mentioned in the previous videos, like today, most banks, hedge funds, shorts, they kind of took the day off, right? At least the American one. So looking and analyzing this data was going to be relatively important. So shorts did increase 281,000 shares, 10.04% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 118.89 million shares overall being shorted. So the fact that you see cost to borrow minimum still negative, and that this was for the most part no real change to the day-to-day activity of shorts, it is fair to assume that most institutions that are shorting SoFi are foreign in nature, whether they are from Canada or Europe or potentially somewhere else. So something again just to analyze once that new SEC transparency rule does kick into place, whether that be like sometime in 2026. It was actually supposed to be initially put out in 2024, but it obviously hit a couple roadblocks. So 2026, I think, is the year we should have that, and that'll add a lot of transparency to the 13Fs. So it will automatically show who is shorting. Right now, it's just completely voluntary. So let me know your general thoughts on that. SoFi had a absolutely phenomenal week. So over the last week, not counting this, it did go up 13.91%. I believe including that 4.32% from today, it went up like 19 something percent. That is epic stuff. So it had one of the most amazing reversals, even popping over here. You can kind of see that a little bit more clearly. So even though it was very scary, it broke below that 50 and also 100-day moving average. Elliott Wave Technicals was forecasting for it to hit like $19. It just said F you and just decided to go straight up. So we did close the week 2 consecutive days above the 50-day moving average, so signaling that we are going to continue on higher, at least based on the technicals. So over the weekend, I'll give you a update on kind of what the Elliott Wave Technicals and so forth are forecasting, because most likely it's going to be kind of back at that $30 range. But there really hasn't been that much in articles talking about SoFi, no new analyst ratings on a side note. So it has been just merely at the mercy of the broader market. Just of course add a dash of a lot of institutional transactions. So today was pretty epic all around. Associated to options today, we had 32 million in calls, 8.2 in puts. Given the shorter day, that was actually pretty good. 51% of all the options being done were bullish in nature. From the bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that $30 to $31 by the end of next week, and bears are anticipating for it to be sub 26. This is the open interest, so with it closing at 29.72, that does mean that the 29.50 and below strike prices are in the money. So as you can kind of see, so we have about 12,000 at the 29.50, 21,000 at the 29, 15,000 at the 28.50, 14,000 at the 28. I didn't do any crazy options. One of my long puts that I did sell several months ago, I think I sold a $19 one, so that got me around $400 in premiums. So that one expired worthless. So as I always share with you, if you like a stock, consider selling puts. Even if it's long term, you can get some good money in, or you buy it at the stock price you want. But yeah, definitely good stuff. So this might cause a little bit of a bump up going into next week. So that could be something very positive. These are some of the transactions that did occur on the dark pool above $100,000. So big one today was 1.4 million. So rather quiet for that. But again, I think the big thing for today was it just breaking above that 29.03. It did that and much, much more. So let me know your thoughts on SoFi. Hopefully everyone had a happy Thanksgiving to all the Americans, of course, out there. Have a good weekend. Stay tuned for my video over this upcoming weekend on some expectations. And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades. Worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.